Well, we are just 15 days away from the brand new year coming upon us, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing everything that happened around me, my chickens, and all that sort of stuff this year and during the year 2023. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and let's... Well, January kicked off the brand new year going in from 2022, going into 2023, and some things happened this month. Like, starting off the month, my cries for help for snow began developing as I realized this winter was going to be a sheer disappointment. Around January 20th, the day after, actually January 21st, the day after my channel turned 2 years old last year, a fox came in and killed some of my ducks, one of them out of the three, Captain Blackwing. That one wasn't nearly as bad as the one that was coming up in February would be, so let's move on to February. But wait, we did get one tiny little snowstorm right before the end of the month. On February 1st, however, we unfortunately lost the Quacken, which was a much bigger hit because that duck meant a whole lot. During the month of February, my cries for help for snow began developing a lot more, and to the middle of the month, we got hit by a humongous ice storm. Fortunately, nothing really bad happened after that one. Although later in the month, we did get our one and only snow day that year because of a pretty big winter storm. I would say we got like 10 inches, and it was something cool. During the month of February, nothing else really big happened. However, in March, though, that was when things started getting a little bit more real. We celebrated our pet flock, chicken's 3rd birthday this year, with 8 out of the 9 being remaining, but as we'll see later, that just simply won't be the case for next year's celebration. This is also the month my rooster Falcon decided to take a turn to the evil side, and has now decided he wanted to live under the devil's rules, unfortunately, so that's basically my rooster now. During this month, we also got hit by the disappointing nor'easter of the century, bringing us a supposed 12 to 18 inches. I'll say it's around 4 to 6 inches. Some areas did have maybe like 8 inches in the yard, but most of it was just 4 to 6 inches of pure, heavy, wet disappointment. During the month of April, we started off really strong with a chill month. Not what you'd expect from April, like what you would expect. However, Easter Sunday that year was truly an Easter Sunday. During the greater portion of the day was pretty fun. We had Easter Sunday brunch, and unfortunately, we came home from an Easter party, and we found out that Chicken Burger was unfortunately killed, being the first predatory attack from any sort of predator on the farm since 2020, and the first chicken to die since 2022 in the pet flock, that being Sprinkles. And unfortunately, this scenario won't end anytime soon. Also, we set our highest temperature of the entire year on like April 15th or something like that. It topped out at 94.5 degrees. I'd say that's pretty rough, especially when your average high in April is 56. Now in May, nothing really big happened. I finally decided to stop being lazy and come out of my hiatus that I hyped up to coming out of back in January, but this was when I decided to finally come out of that hiatus, and I finally got back to posting normal videos after that point. Also during the month of May, we also began realizing that this year might be a bit on the drier side, which is pretty unfortunate, but of course we got a pretty warm month, and it was fairly average. Nothing really big happened this month. The gardening season did finally begin, though. In June, to kick off the month on June 10th, 2023, unfortunately, Lovey, one of my favorite chickens, ended up passing away unexpectedly due to a hawk attack. It came out of absolutely nowhere, and I already made 2 videos. My tribute video came out 2.5 months later or so. We also ended the school year out on around June 15th, I believe, or something like that, and it was finally a relief because I didn't have to wake up at 5:30 for a couple months. But then I had to go back to waking up at 5, which kind of sucks, not gonna lie. Next up, during this month, we also celebrated my birthday really far into the month, and one thing about that day, though, was that was the first day I intentionally ended up staying up past 2:30, because there was this loud thunderstorm, and it wouldn't die down, and that was the start of the wet, really wet season, and it was just something I didn't expect to happen. It was a crazy month, if I don't say so myself, to end it out, of course. We got 2.5 inches rain in under an hour. The thunder was loud, the lightning was pretty close. It was an insane thunderstorm to end out the month, and of course we had an inch of rain every day past that point, going into early July. Now on July 5th, we set our second highest record for the year, that being 92 degrees, and then past that month, the temperatures fell off faster than my views back in January. And of course, whatever happened, well, unfortunately, past July 12th, things started getting worse and worse. On July 12th, we heard the news that some of our neighbors' chickens were beginning to be attacked by a humongous coyote, nearly the size of a wolf, weighing somewhere between 50 and 75 pounds, which at that point, would you even consider it a coyote? They're like 30 pounds usually. You could usually take them out in a wrestling match. At that point, it might be a bit concerning. Now, unfortunately, On July 20th, they ended up coming first thing in the morning and killing 3 chickens in the pet flock and severely injuring Kit Kat and causing some minor injuries to Falcon. Later that day, Grey Cloud disappeared mysteriously, which I'm assuming she just got out, got lost, and after maybe a couple days, she probably got found by something. If we came a little bit earlier, maybe she would have lived. At around 3 o'clock, a little bit after lunch, unfortunately, the farm flock did end up getting in on a pretty bad attack. Did I forget to mention, we had a week where we got 4 inches of rain in 2 hours, and then the next week, we got 6 inches of rain throughout the day, but it caused deadly flash flooding across the state. Fortunately, I was there to witness it. In August of this year as well, some other interesting things began happening. We lost 1 chicken in the farm flock. After losing a lot in and around July, where we went down from 18 to 6, we went down to 5, taking out Captain Blackbeard, one of my personal favorite chickens in that flock. With that being said, we finally decided to cave in and move all the 5 chickens into the pet flock, that including Chicka Chicka, T-Rexa, Peta, Gold, and I believe Fluffball. Yeah, I kind of forgot the names there. I don't have a script for this video. I'm just going right off. I don't know. And then we finally got a break from the severe weather, but I forgot to mention at the end of July we did get a tornado warning for about 5 minutes before that storm briefly ended up spawning a funnel cloud on the opposing side of the state, which is something I'm very thankful I wasn't in. Now, the month of August was fairly uneventful, other than the fact that we started school on August 24th. And then September began, and that was when things began to get a little real. We did have a brief tornado warning again, which this one was a bit less disappointing. There wasn't any tornado, obviously, but the winds were a bit more intense, and yeah, that video created a pretty iconic video on the channel. I also posted my most viewed video of the year during the month of September 2023. We also went on an 8-day vacation up to Alaska and I saw the Northern Lights for the first time I've ever seen them, not in stock video. Just for me to realize I've already seen them before. And then at the end, like the dead end of the month, actually I forgot to mention, not the dead end of the month, but like at the middle of the month, tensions were beginning to rise right before we left for vacation. Not only did we get that thunderstorm with that tornado warning, but we also got a little bit of a hurricane up here, and I thought it was going to hit us, but fortunately it curveballed at the last second well away from us, and we were just fine. If you're wondering, that was Hurricane Lee, and it was a pretty bad storm in other areas, but fortunately we were blessed enough to only get wind gusts of like 40 miles an hour. Now, beginning October pretty strong, I announced my challenge that I only got 1 participant for, which was my pumpkin carving challenge, which unfortunately I wasn't really able to keep my word with that one because I only got 1 participant of that challenge. Halloween season was beginning, and we kind of forgot to put out the decorations as per usual. The month of October was very uneventful other than some rainstorms. Early on in the month we did get a really bad rainstorm here that did cause like 4 inches of rain, and nothing big happened with the chickens during this month. And then we went into November, and that's when things started to hit the fan really quickly. Like, really quickly. The month of November began, and out of nowhere my video quality improved a bit because I learned some more editing techniques, of course, as per usual. The month of November was very, very uneventful, although it was like the most miserable November you could have ever possibly asked for due to the weather. Almost the entire month was just cloud cover, highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s. We did get a little bit of snow, but a lot of rain that month. Now here we are in December, and hopefully I won't have to cry out for help for snow next year. But if I will, it's not my fault, it's the snow's fault. Just give me some snow. I'm tired of it being replaced by rain. We already got like 3 inches of snow 3 inches of rain this month. Actually, I think it was like 4.5, almost 5 inches actually. Earlier on the month, it caused some pretty big problems, and that was pretty much it. That was the year in review in about 8.5 minutes, so be sure to click the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Obviously, it wasn't a year in review for a whole lot of other things. I just briefly described what happened over here on my side. Anyways, I'm out. Subscribe.